Oops. Hi, you guys, and welcome to Being Becca Live. It is I am outside, and that's going to be something I want to talk about today. I'm attempting to do an outside video today, but I just decided to do it like a few minutes ago, and so I'm sort of still setting up. So whatever. Um, Hey, Burnett, how are you? Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join me. Excuse me while I yell at Walter. Walter, quiet, please. So you can hear him in the background. I'm sorry. He's probably going to bark the entire time now that I'm sitting here. But I want you to listen closely because our hummingbird feeder is up and our regular feeder is up. Oh, and so you might hear the hummingbirds swing on by, whistling sort of. That's what they sound like as I'm sitting here. And so Walter thinks that he found something in our woodpile and is out there barking his brains out over it. And that's just sort of where I'm at right now. Hey, Bill, thanks so much for joining me today. I'm excited to see you guys. I was sort of busy doing other things this morning, and like I've already been on the computer for hours. It's crazy. And written things and sent them off. It's nuts to me already. Hey, Ross, thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate it. So I'm sort of just trying to take advantage of the beautiful weather that we're having right now in Colorado. I'm sitting on my deck. The dogs are out there enjoying the weather. They've been up here kind of locked on the deck for a little bit, just enjoying the sunshine and whatnot. And it's sort of it just reminds me how important it all is to me. Although right now I would really like for Walter to shut up. I really would. Well, I guess I'm just gonna have to push through and deal with it. Anyway, yeah. So last week, you guys, I of Being Becca. So it wasn't live, it was just Being Becca, because I had a meltdown. And I think that what we are missing in our community sometimes is videos from each other, um, and or blog pieces from each other that share the moments when it's not so easy being autistic, that share the moments when we are at our weakest, at our most vulnerable. And certainly, I would say post meltdown is one of those phases. And what I wanted to capture last week, and the reason I recorded it, was because everything was so on the surface, everything was so raw in that moment for me. And I figured, you know what, let me just record it and say what I have to say, and it'll feel good to get it out, and say what I have to say about it. But also, if I decide I don't want to share it with the world, or it's something inappropriate, I don't necessarily have to. But in that moment, I wanted to capture those emotions. So if you didn't catch live stream last week, that's because it wasn't live. It was recorded. So just hop onto the Being Becca Live playlist and catch up with the one from last week. I talked about the stuff that I was really having a meltdown about, that really kind of pushed me over the edge. And I don't want to give any more details about the situation because I don't want to call anybody out, and it's not worth it, right? To sort of do that scenario. What is worth it to me is saying the things that I did say, which was the stuff that it brought up to the surface. And I am someone who is like just now kind of really I want to say becoming intimate with my own trauma about things. And I'm trying not to take down whole systems of things when I have a meltdown, or because I've been betrayed by somebody. And so that meltdown last week was 100% the straw, as they say, that broke the camel's back, or sent the damn explosion, whatever you want to say, um, was a betrayal by somebody. And reminds me so much that most people just are so paralyzed by the social constructs that they that they do things that, if they paused for a moment before they did them, would be quite so dramatic, or wouldn't be quite so lethal even in some ways. And so I'm sort of past that piece, and I've cleared my life of said person, and all of the stuff surrounding it. But and I've corrected my journey and I've made the adjustments and all of those things, and I'm past it. But I'm proud of myself for being past it. And what it made me really think about is that the universe has this way of pointing out to you the things that are holding you back, that whether they're self-imposed obstacles that you put there or a scenario you're in that you need out of, whatever it is, the universe has a way of sort of making a neon sign about that, and it's sort of up to you to say, I hear you, universe, I'm going to do something about it. And that's what I did. I hear you, universe, I'm going to do something about it, and I did. And I moved on to things that inspire me, that push me to be, what's the word I want to use? Push me to be my best self, I guess. Push me harder to chase the goals and dreams that I've been kind of hunting down. Right. And so, in the spirit of all that, I want to talk about something today that's sort of a kind of throwaway topic, because I don't really have anything, oh my God, amazing, life changing to talk about today, but something that's been on the back burner for a bit for me. And something I enjoy very much that I think you guys do too is, Walter, please, it's enough. I'm sorry, you guys. It's very, oh, hummingbirds. Hello, hummingbirds. It'd be so cool if one just came over here on camera. That'd be so dope. Anyway, so I've just been thinking about that stuff. And so I've been working on my big projects. And you guys know, if you follow the channel, projects are. I have a book that's coming out that I'm working on right now that is really just centered around my trauma. And so it's difficult writing, but I've been getting a lot of support on the writing stuff and getting feedback from other people. And I'm trucking along, right? Here we go, trucking. The idea is now clear of what I need to do. I just now need to do the actual work, right? And so that's been part of that burnout recovery, getting back into the writing, finding the energy to do it, all of that stuff. That aside, the other project that I'm working on, as you know, is like my heart project. It's like my passion project. I am doing the research that I swore to my self-defined living students that I would. I noticed this on the last video, by the way, that this was so uneven, and that's all I could look at in the last video, was that my strings are uneven. Anyway, so I've been working on this research, and the research is about autistic quality of life and trying to understand what the components are that make a quality life for autistic people. What is that to us? Do we even have the luxury to think about that kind of stuff? Not usually. And so I'm working on that, and out of that is coming from our community, some really great validation on the stuff that I teach in my course, on some of the things that I consider to be essential to autistic quality of life is being confirmed for me by other autistics out there, and the stuff that I'm doing, and it's fantastic, and the people that I'm working with are fantastic. But what I want to talk about in relation to that today is, ironically, as Walter is driving me crazy right in this moment, is really the essentialness of time in nature and time with other creatures and non-human creatures. That's what I want to say. Time with other non-human creatures. And that is coming out to be a really essential piece for all of us. And it's a piece that I've known about my whole life. It's something I've known about me my whole life, that only as I started to work with other autistic people and knew that I was autistic, right, is that the time that we need time with non-human creatures, and we need time out in nature almost by ourselves, but we can do it with other people, but a connection to nature and in a way to sort of step away from the loudness of the rest of the world, right? And as we're sort of looking through the responses that I'm getting from people, that those are up there with our important things. And so, you know, he's insane. He really is insane. There's like a ground squirrel inside our like log pile right now. And he thinks that by barking loudly at this log pile, the ground squirrel is going to go, oh, who, me? Pardon? Should I come right out? Yes. Oh, Walter, you were looking for me. Here I am. And so that's sort of what is happening here right now, and is very distracting to me. I thought, oh, so nice. I'll sit outside. And that's what's going on instead. But in the conversations of our team as we're working on this project, I had some hypothetical guesses, right, about what I thought would be the essentials to not just myself, but to other autistic people. And I'm being affirmed in that. And I want you to know clearly what it is that creates quality of life for ourselves. It's just that nobody's bothered to ask before. Right. So it's really interesting to know that any of the supports and services that we've sort of created thus far have been built off of this idea of creating a quality of life for autistic people based on neurotypical notions of quality of life, when in fact we know what it is that we need. And so what I want to say is, be affirmed. That's what I want to say. Be affirmed in your choices about how you are living your life and the things that you are making priority and the things that you have worked on kind of since, if you've been in the course, if you've taken the course, then since you've taken the course, right, or since you've started watching my videos, and sort of getting used to this idea that you can build a life that looks crazy to other people but suits you perfectly, and that's fine, right? Hello, hummingbirds. And so I'm being confirmed in that, and confirmed in in sort of what those pockets are that create trouble areas for us, what the pockets are that we know we need that we don't get enough of. And so I guess what I want to say is, when you don't ask the right question, you don't get the right answers. And so I feel like we've been living in this world of failed supports because we haven't been asking the right questions. We've been building supports off of the wrong questions being answered. And when you ask an autistic person a question, you have to be careful and diligent about your word choices, because we take that really seriously, make a lot of our decisions. And so I am seeing that in the research that we're doing. And I am proud to say that something I've been really a proponent of for a very, very long time has been this relationship with animals and this relationship with nature piece that gets ignored for us in a big way, or doesn't get prioritized in the way that it should. And even though right now my dog is making me crazy and I have to turn you guys around so you can see this, I have no idea if you'll be able to see it on camera. Probably not. You can't. Shoot. Well, Schmidt's sitting right in the door staring at me. Oh, wow. So the sound has been cut out for who knows how long. That's really sucky. I don't know how much you guys missed, and I don't know what I said. And so I guess I'll go back a little bit just to say that that life is complicated by the social constructs. Live a non-traditional life. That's what I was really talking about. Okay, thanks, Ross. I appreciate it. So sorry if that I cut out sound. It was really, I turned it off so that I could yell at Walter, who is still barking nonetheless. And what I wanted to say is, and what I was saying is that, you know, I think that I was denied the priority that animals and nature need to be in my life, most of my life. Like everyone was focused on something else. They were focused on some other. Oh, now he's in the window, the Schmidt. I tried to show you Schmidt in the door, and now he's in the window at me because he wants to come outside too. So um, I was just talking about how, like, I know in the life that I created, in the life that I'm teaching you guys to create, right? That animals and nature and time in nature, time away from the loudness of the world is so essential to our well-being that when I began to create this life and when I was seeking a life away from the loudness, people thought I was crazy, right? There was all kinds of judgment surrounding this non-traditional life that I want to live. But the truth is that I am happiest when surrounded by non-human animals. Antonio being the exception. And so, I've created a life that is really true to me. And that includes all the parts of me, the parts that people disagree with, the parts that people feel they can judge, like how many I have, that I smoke pot, that I maybe don't dress fancy, all kinds of shit. But the life, and now my neighbors I'm trying to live is so true to me that um, when I allow those other judgments in, I feel so personally attacked, I guess. And I think that's where the betrayal feeling came from. And I think that's where um, where I sort of hit a kind of a wall about how much time I want to spend, excuse me, with human beings. And the older I'm getting and the truer I'm living to who I am, the less time that is. I am truly, truly an introvert, and the social that I get online is truly, truly enough for me. Maybe like a +1 on the social that I get from there, from the internet. I need maybe +1 in real life, but that's about it. And I just feel like that's an important thing to acknowledge, and that's an important kind of what's the word I want? I'm so at a loss for words because Walter won't stop barking. I can't even tell you. So it's sort of like I just feel like the work that I'm doing in terms of quality of life research is about us, and we know what it is that we need, and we just have been not forced. We've just been held to a different standard. Like anybody who was trying to do well by us was holding us to their neurotypical standard, right? And we need to set a standard for autistic quality of life. And I guess that's what I'm in pursuit of right now. And when people feel like they can judge me for the other choices that I'm making when I am working so hard at all of these other things that I know are not for me but for other people, it really just ticks me. And so, lesson learned from Meltdown last week, definitely. And I want to say I'm sorry that today's live stream is just such a jumble of random thoughts, but it sort of snuck up on me out of nowhere. And with that, I say, I'm going to get out of here and figure out what it is that's driving Walter crazy. Go inside, have some lunch. I have a few other meetings this afternoon, but I hope to see you guys out and about in the interwebs out there. Don't forget to get out there and seek joy, create joy, share joy, all the joys. I will be back here next Wednesday, hopefully with my thoughts a little more put together. And I will see you then. Bye, guys.